Hello everyone, today I'm here to do a review of We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. So I think that the best way to go into this book is knowing as little as possible, so I'm going to keep my synopsis super brief. So this story involves the Sinclairs, a very wealthy family, and every summer they all go to this private island and spend the entire summer there. So we have the main character Cadence, there's Mirren and Johnny, they're all cousins, and then Gat, who is kind of friends with Johnny. And these four are called the Liars. So if you haven't read this book, I'm going to do a kind of brief overview about my thoughts, because like I said, you should go into this book knowing as little as possible. So I'm going to do a really short spoiler-free section, then I'm going to go into more detail that will have spoilers. Firstly, the writing style of this book. I really love the writing style. E. Lockhart has a beautifully poetic style of writing, and at some points I think it was kind of reminiscent of free verse, just the way that it was formatted with particular sentences running across several lines, like a poem, and the descriptions, often there would be metaphors, but they were quite shocking. Like at some points you wouldn't actually realize that they were figurative. You'd have to take a step back and just kind of think about it to really understand that what Cadence is saying is a metaphor. It was just that kind of impactful. I feel like this writing style though may not be to everyone's tastes. And there's a lot of mystery in this book as well, and that really grabbed my attention and kept me reading, kept me wanting to know more. So overall I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend reading it if you have not picked it up already. Just keep in mind though, there has been a lot of hype about this, and some people have been disappointed because of this, and I went into this book expecting to be disappointed. And I kind of think that worked out for the better, because I ended up really pleasantly surprised with this book. I really ended up enjoying it. So go into this book with no expectations. Just take it for what it is. Hopefully you enjoy it. But I'm going to move on to spoilery stuff now. So exit now or forever hold your peace. You have been warned. Okay, so one of the things that kind of confused me a little bit was why this group was called the Liars. I mean, yeah, they lied to Cadence about the fact that, you know, they weren't really alive during that last summer on the island, but I was kind of confused as to how that name even came about. Because people lie, you know? I kind of expected there to be some big story behind the fact that they were called the Liars, and I just didn't quite understand why it was such a big thing. And kind of the title of this book as well led me to believe that the fact that they were liars was going to be a much more pivotal point of this story. I'm just going back through my notes of like things I wrote while I was reading the book. I said I lost a bit of respect for Cadence when she mentioned having Crocs, because I despise those things. No. But apart from that, I didn't like really connect with Cadence on a deep level. One thing I noticed was that quite often she seemed to like just completely ignore certain comments from her friends, both by not responding like verbally or even acknowledging it in her thoughts, like in her narration, which was an interesting thing, because I mean on one hand I would have liked to see her reflect on these things a little bit and get more into her head. It kind of felt like I was distanced a little bit. When Mirren said to Cadence, you say don't feel sorry for you, but then you tell a story about the base of a toilet. It's seriously pitiful. What are we supposed to say? So yeah, Cadence wouldn't have a response to that, but then she wouldn't really think about it and reflect upon her actions or anything else, like mentally, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, I thought that maybe this was a device to kind of keep all the mystery, maybe like minimizing a character's hypothesizing of what had happened, because if Cadence had started like thinking about certain things, it might have led us to the twist at the end, what ended up happening, if you know what I mean. So I'm not sure. Maybe that's me just being a really picky, irritating reader. But speaking about this twist, the truth, the revelation of what actually had happened, I did not see it coming at all. I never got an inkling about that at all. I did not expect that there would be some hectic fire that killed 75% of the Liars. I actually thought that Gat had ended up like really hurting and betraying Cadence, and that kind of Johnny and Mirren wanted to stay out of it sort of thing, so they just like minimized all contact. I'm not really sure. It's kind of ish. The truth, I never could have anticipated it. It's actually made me quite intrigued to go back and reread this book and see how well E. Lockhart wove all of the little clues in, because obviously once the truth came out, I kind of thought back about the fact that they didn't respond respond to the emails, the fact that they didn't get the gifts that she sent them. There was the fact that they refused to go to dinner with the whole family. I think it'd be really interesting to see how much I could actually pick up on. On that note, I do want to direct you to this video by The Book Basement. She did end up rereading the book and seeing like what clues she could pick up on, and just hearing her talking about all those things, it makes me feel like such an idiot that I couldn't piece these things together, because it just makes so much sense. But obviously when you're first reading it, you don't know how things have ended, like it just seems kind of normal. But a lot of the things have a much deeper meaning than that, and it was just really interesting, and I think she did a really good job picking up on all the things and reflecting back on them. So if you have read the book, I definitely suggest going and watching that video. Although the truth was quite shocking, I didn't really feel an impact from it initially. Kind of because when Cadence was like explaining the plan to have them like on separate floors and each starting a fire at their own destinations, I just wanted to facepalm and like shake some sense into them. Like, obviously that was a stupid idea. Like, how are you able to ensure perfect timing? Because if something went wrong on one person's end, then how are they supposed to communicate when they're all in separate parts of the house? And then just like the people up the top, when they start the fire, they come back down, there's already fire on the bottom floor. It's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be very, very tricky to escape. So I was kind of focusing on that, my thoughts about that, when I was reading what was happening. And it wasn't actually until later on when Cadence was like kind of reflecting on her cousins and her friends and the fact that they're not going to experience certain things in their lives because they're not there to experience it any longer. And she was talking about each of them individually, and that's when it started to really upset me. And the dogs as well. I mean, the dogs, like, come on! Come on! Oh! I hope this last part didn't sound too negative and critical, because overall I really, really enjoyed this book. I fall in love with really beautiful, lyrical, and just poetic writing styles. I love it so much. I just love how well E. Lockhart was able to kind of weave all of these subtle clues in amongst just a gorgeous, gorgeous writing. That's my thoughts on We Were Liars. I hope you enjoyed this review. As per usual, feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions down below. I'd love to hear whether you like this book or were disappointed, maybe because of the hype, maybe not because of the hype. But yeah, let me know. I will see you guys later. Bye!